Hey everybody, welcome back to Lemon Branch DIY. Today we're doing another battery change, but this time we are doing it at a Honda Pilot. So stay tuned and I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so what we're working on, I got a dead battery. It's a 2015 Honda Pilot, and as far as I know, I don't know how long it's been since the battery has actually been changed, but came out this morning, tried to start it, totally dead. I jumped it, got it going. It drives just fine until I pull it back into the driveway, turn it off, shut it off, and yep, still no juice. So battery is bad. We got to take out the battery and put in a new one. So my plan is I'm going to take it out. I'm going to take it to the store. We're going to get a new battery so I know what size to get, and then I can just do the exchange, and if there's a battery cord, then I can exchange the battery and return the old one all at the same time, come back, throw the new one in. Should be a pretty simple project, but I have not done one on the Honda Pilot before, so I'm just going to kind of show you how to do it. And so if you have a Honda Pilot, you know, you'll be able to do it yourself. Okay, so the first thing we've got to do is locate the battery, and it is in the driver's side, right behind the driver's side grill. So there it is up underneath there. And so the first thing we got to do is we've got to expose the battery. So we've got this thing right in the way, right? So we've got to take this and remove it so we can expose the battery that's down there. Okay, so these little clips are pretty easy, and you just take a screwdriver and you pop it down underneath and you pop it up like that. Now what's cool about that is it raises it up and pulls it up and out, and then this other piece just slides right out as well. Now before we go too far, I'm going to put that back inside so that I don't lose it, and then when we go to put it back in, it'll just pop right back in. So pretty simple to do. So I'm just going to put these off to the side here. There's a little perfect area right here to put it in. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. And what you can do, these things do rotate, so it makes it a little easier. I flip it around like that. I'm going to pop the screwdriver in there just like that. This whole thing comes out. And then I can go back into... No, I was going to try and do it with my finger, but this, just get underneath it with a screwdriver again and pop that straight up so that I can at least move this up and out. Now I'm not sure where the catch is on this air intake. So over here it's just kind of put inside the rubber just like that. So it's pretty simple to just kind of wiggle out. And what's great is that's all we need to do to expose the battery. So it looks like there's a couple places that we need to unscrew so that we can get the battery out. Okay, now that we've got the battery exposed, we've got a couple connections here that we've got to deal with. We've got the negative terminal and we've got the positive terminal. Now notice we've got some other connections here that are going into the positive terminal. We don't want to mess with those, but I am going to open it up, and that will expose where the clamp actually goes onto the positive terminal of the battery. And so what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew that bolt there, and that should hopefully undo the clamp so that we can just remove the entire positive terminal, and we don't want to mess with any of these connections. They should be able to stay completely together. Over on the other side, it's pretty straightforward. We've just got the negative terminal, and that clamp is just on with that there. These, I'm assuming, are going to be 10 millimeter. So if we have a 10 millimeter socket, I'm just guessing with my 10 millimeter, because usually these are 10 millimeter. And I'm just going to put it in there. It's 10 millimeter, and that wasn't even very tight. So we'll just go ahead and undo these, and we'll pop those off of the battery here. I'm going to start with the positive terminal here. We'll get that one pretty loose. Okay, so once that's loose, that just popped right off. That was easy as can be. And what we'll do is once I get the battery out of here, I'll come back in. There's a little bit of corrosion. That's what you're seeing, that green. I'm going to put some, I'm going to get a wire brush, and I'm going to clean that up a little bit. So when it goes on the new battery, there won't be any corrosion. You can kind of see how it's coming off. This guy over here, we'll go ahead and undo the negative terminal. This should pop right off also. Just like so. Okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of put this off to the side. Just kind of wedge it in there like that, so it's just up out of the way, easy to get to when I go to get the new battery in. This one I'll just move off to the side also, see if I can just kind of keep it out of the way. Okay, now to get the battery out, we've got a whole bracket here that's holding it into place, and it's held in by these two screws here, which I am assuming those are probably 10 millimeter also. So let's go ahead and see, they are. So I'm just going to loosen these guys up, and I'll do that on both sides and see if that's all that we needed to do to loosen the battery. So we'll see. I'm just going to do the rest of these by hand. I don't know if I'm going to have to take them all the way off on both sides or not. We'll see if once we get one side off, if we can just rotate it. Okay, I'm just going to use my hand just with the socket set here because it's loose enough, but it's just a little too hard for my hand to just do it by hand. So we'll just keep going with this till it's loose enough to pull off. There it goes. It's almost off now. There it is. And we don't want to lose anything down the back, so I'm going to hold on to that guy here. That should just move. Yeah, so this here, once it's free, I can just move this off to the side like this. You can see how that just comes out. I'll just move this off to the side. And the other one, I don't even know what happened to it. It's down inside there somewhere. We'll have to fish down there and find it. Okay, so once that bracket's off, then we just have to slide this little case, this outer casing. You just slide it straight out. We'll put that off to the side, and then the battery itself is free, so we can just pull the battery right out. So that's as easy as that was to free up the battery. Okay, so once I pulled the battery out, there's a tray that the battery actually rests in. It's just this little tray here that you can actually take out if you want, but it just sits, that's the battery compartment. So there's two little grooves on these, like two little pegs, where when you put it back in, it just kind of rests into place. No reason to even take that out, so I'm just going to leave that there. I'll show you the bracket. This is the bracket that goes over the battery, and they just kind of fit in. Let's see if you can see that. So see how there's like a little hook right there on the battery bracket there, and this goes up over the top of the battery to hold it into place, if that makes sense. So I've just got the whole contraption here. I just pulled the whole thing out, and I put the other bolt, the nut on the bolt there, just so I don't lose it, and I'll just set it off to the side. Okay, so the next thing I want to do before I go get the new battery is I just got a wire brush, and I am going to clean this terminal up and get all of the junk off of it. So I'm just going to use the wire brush to just kind of, clean it up, just going back and forth, and you can see it's already starting to polish up a little bit. So I'll go ahead and do that and show you how it turned out. I will go around with the sandpaper, and when I have both hands, I'm able to actually do a better job of cleaning out the inside of that terminal, making sure that there's no grit or grime inside the terminal where it's going to actually touch the battery. So now we've got the battery exposed, and it's out. I'm going to just kind of look at it, make sure that we get the right size of battery. Then we'll bring it back and get the new one installed. It should go back together pretty fast, much easier than taking out. This one's pretty straightforward and easy. So okay, everybody, I have been to get the replacement battery. I ended up picking this up at Costco. This was $179 for the size that I needed. It's 24F is the sizing of it. That's the group size. Then the cold crank is 710, and then it's got a 36 mile warranty. And then it has the reserve crank of 120, so the reserve charge of 120. So it's a pretty significant size of battery for this vehicle. And when I was shopping around, they range all over the place. So you can go to AutoZone or one of those places, and they started at around $215, $220 for the same type of battery, at least in my local area. So I did pick this up at Costco. I felt like I got a little bit better deal. I did find one online that's a little bit cheaper. The cheapest I found was $169, but I'd have to wait several days to get it. But since I needed the car, that extra $10 didn't matter, and so I was able to just pick this up at Costco. So having said that, now we're ready to reverse the process and put the new battery in. One thing that I do like about this battery is it has a handle, and oh my goodness, does that make all the difference in the world, because these batteries are about 45 pounds, so they're pretty heavy. Okay, we went ahead and got all of that cleaned up. The terminals are nice and clean on the inside. No more corrosion. We got it looking pretty good. You could do one more step, and when you go to put it on, you could put a little grease in there. That'll help kind of cut back on some of the corrosion. But I've got it all cleaned up and I don't have any grease, so I'm just going to kind of watch it over the next couple months. Just make sure that no corrosion starts to build up. If it does build up, you can always just disconnect everything, clean it all up again so that it has good contact. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to put the battery right back into the compartment. We'll start putting everything together. So first thing I need to do is get the opening, get it nice and open for us. We'll just kind of move some of these terminals off to the side. Now when you go to put it back in, just make sure that your positive is going to go on the right side where the positive and negatives are. It's kind of self-explanatory, but I've got to turn this around, and we'll just get that slid right back in there just like that. We'll get that positioned where it's not going to move too much. So we'll just leave this off to the side. I will take these caps off here in just a second once I get the other bracket into place. So make sure that the battery's into the little cradle, and now we can put the other bracket on. Okay, so the next thing is to get this put back into place, this cover. So I'm just going to slide it back down into place, and once it's in nice and tight, you'll feel it go flush. There is an arrow here showing forward, so you'll know which way to go, because you just want it open in the back here so that when we start to attach the terminals, the terminals don't rest up on top of these little flanges here. So now that we've got that in place, the next thing we got to do is we're going to put this bracket back in that holds the battery onto the car frame. So we'll put this back in just like that. Now you don't want to over tighten this, but let me show you the trick of what you've got to do. These have little hooks on them, and I don't know if you can see this little hook that's coming out. Let me get down in there. All right, so you can see that the hook just needs to go through that bracket just like that. As long as you've got that in there, that is going to be easy to just tighten it up, and you'll have a hook just like that on both sides. So let's go over on the other side, and I'll see if I can get down in there. And you can see the little bracket right there, how it's going through the bracket there. So as long as those are in those brackets, you'll be able to tighten this thing down. You'll get this nice and tight. Now, like I said, you don't want to over tighten it, because if you do, it could break the plastic and the battery itself. So and you'll be able to. It doesn't take a lot of force to get that nice and tight, and you'll want to just keep cranking it, but just don't. Just get it, nice and tight. See how loose that is? That's still so easy to turn, but this thing is solid. So if I tried to move this, it moves the entire car. It won't move the battery. So you don't have to get that over tight. Just get it tight enough where it's like this. It's not going to move. Now we're ready to start hooking up the terminals. So you always want to start with the positive terminal. So you'll take that and you'll just slide it right down as tight as you can get it to the bottom, just like that. And there again, you don't want to over tighten these, because you don't want to break the bolt. And it's so easy to do because it just doesn't take that much. So you just want to get it, nice and tight, but not over tight. And you'll know, because if you go to move it like that, it won't move. So while we've got that exposed, we'll just make sure that this other terminal is nice and tight as well. And it is. Now we're able to put the cap back on. Now we'll move to the negative terminal. I'm just going to make sure that's nice and tight. Now we'll tighten up the terminal on this side. There again, do not over tighten it. because if you over tighten, you could break the bolt, and the nut will just keep going right through. It'll break it. So you want to get it where there's a little bit of resistance, but you just don't want to keep going where it's so much that you're going to break. Okay, so now we're just going to put the air intake back on. Now it has this rubber gasket that just kind of hooks both of them together. Now what's interesting is depending on how it came out, the rubber gasket could be on the inside of the car or it could be on the outside. So there's two ways to do it. You just want to slide the rubber gasket just right back on over the top, just like that. It's easy to do. And now all we're going to do is slide this side back into the rubber, and you see I'm just kind of pushing and twisting, and you'll feel it pop right in. So then we just want to line these holes back up just like this. And if you remember these cool little brackets, there's two pieces to it. You just push the bottom part in just like that, and then same thing on the other side, and then these little pegs just pop right in just like that. Now everything's back together, everything's nice and tight, the battery's tight, everything looks nice and clean, good connections. Only thing we have left to do is fire this thing up. All right, so we have success. So you can see that's a pretty simple job. It only takes just a few minutes. The hardest part is getting the battery out and then taking it in and getting the new battery. The new batteries, when they come, they're all charged up, ready to go. So all you have to do is put it in and hook it up. So it's pretty simple. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit subscribe, and thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.